Hey there, and welcome to Motherhood Unplugged. I'm your host, Mama Olive, otherwise known as Tatiana Karanja, and this is the podcast where we talk about motherhood honestly and openly. I'm so excited to share that this episode is brought to you by Malaika, Kenya's leading maternal care platform. Malaika connects you with trusted healthcare providers, offers personalized care plans, and offers the resources you need to navigate motherhood with confidence. You can check them out at malaika.com or on Instagram. We'll put all the details down in the link below. Hi there, and welcome back to Motherhood Unplugged. For this episode, it's going to be a little bit of a strange one because we are going to be reacting to some of the comments that you have made under one of my videos. Yes, these are my two kittens, and they will be joining us for today's episode. The other day, I had a conversation about one of my biggest regrets as a parent. And basically, we can link it down below, but basically the entire video was about how when I had my first baby and then I had my second, I started to treat my oldest baby, Olive, a lot older than she was. Now, my babies were 18 months apart, and it just, when you have this newborn, your older one just seems so much bigger than she is. And then you start to treat them like they have, they should be more understanding of what the world is about, and they should be more responsible, and, they shouldn't still, because they're still kids. And that was my biggest regret till now. There are still days where I treat my eldest like she should be more responsible and older than she actually is, which is not the case. And it's one of the biggest regrets that I have as a parent. And I go on about this in the video. And I couldn't believe how many people it resonated with. So I thought I'd read out some of your comments and we can talk about it. Let's have a conversation. All right, let's start. Okay. Here's one by Bim Bimmer. She goes, let them feel for themselves. They need to be caring and loving to their younger ones naturally, without being forced, as they also enjoy their childhood. They connect more without feeling least important. That never fades. And I completely agree, because at the end of the day, firstly, I'm really under the impression that as a parent, we should not have expectations on our kids that they need to raise the younger kids. It is not their responsibility. We decided to have more kids, and we shouldn't expect them to be doing that. Of course, in a household, it's really great if we can all help each other out. Take on some responsibilities. Let's help each other get ready or whatever it might be. But it's not their responsibility. So I do not believe in forcing our older kids to look after our younger kids. That's just me. Somebody else says, there are so many people who say they relate. This is a firstborn daughter thing. I definitely relate as a firstborn daughter. Casiro said it's a firstborn daughter. I remember as a child, we were going to South Africa for school. And this is when I was around 13 or 14. And every time we would come on holiday and then leave, and my parents would always say, take care of your younger sister. And I remember one time I just broke down because I was like, how come you never, no one is taking care of me? At that time, obviously, it's a lot more emotional than it is now. But I just remember having this feeling like I'm always taking care of my sister and nobody's taking care of me. So I definitely feel like it's that firstborn thing. Somebody else said, I remember when my mum used to yell at me, you're not a child. I was 8 at the time, and I learned to depend on myself and take care of others. Now they wonder why I don't call or need them. One time, early 20s, I actually asked her why she hated me and treated me differently. I'm healed now, but I missed my childhood. That really resonates with me because that's something that I think about all the time. I have been guilty of doing the same, even though it's something that I'm trying to correct. I catch myself in certain seasons trying to correct myself where I'm doing exactly that, expecting too much. Or, I've actually even been told by my daughter, why do you treat them differently than you're treating me? And it's something that really hurts me. It's something that I feel really terrible about doing. It was never in my intention. I think it's just one of those things. It happens because they seem so much older, but we forget that they're still children. And so that comment really deeply resonates with me and also adds to my fire of why I need to continuously just strive to treat them all equally and age appropriately. Somebody else said, you treat her like your friend rather than a child that she is. It happens. That is not at all the case what I'm talking about. It's not that I'm treating my kids as friends. It's completely different from that. My kids are my friends. Let me start there. And I know that's also a controversial topic here in Kenya. Like, you shouldn't be friends with your kids. My kids are my friends with boundaries, of course. There are certain boundaries they cannot cross, but I do like to think of them as my friends. It's a relationship that I've had with my parents, specifically my dad. And it's why I will always be comfortable and safe knowing that I can call him for anything that ever happens. And it's the same with my mom. If anything ever happens, I know there's no judgment, there's no shouting. I just call, whatever the problem is, I'll be picked up, or it'll be sorted and we can discuss this later. I think being friends with your kid to an extent is really important, and it's something that I truly value about our relationship. But this is a different topic than what I was talking about in this video. There are also a lot of people who are really encouraging me, and I really thank you all for that. The God bless yous. God bless you for this reminder. I'm just about to have another kid. This is a timely reminder. You're doing such an amazing job. All of those comments. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. We are all doing our best. And I actually don't feel bad in any way sharing this in this kind of video, because there's so many of you who are constantly encouraging me, and I know so many of you are also in the same space as I am. So I just feel like it's a normal topic, and if we just normalize a lot more things that we go through as moms, we'll feel a lot better, and this motherhood journey will be a lot easier for all of us. Somebody else goes on to say, this is why I don't want baby number 2. The guilt. My 2-year-old is just a baby. And I completely feel you with that, because let me tell you, I think the age gap between my youngest and my older 2 now is a lot easier to deal with, because my older kids are able to understand what motherhood looks like, what being a child looks like, what being independent looks like. It's easier to explain to them why I do certain things with my youngest and why I do certain things with the older ones. So I definitely think that thing of having kids back to back is a little bit more challenging, and it requires a little bit more patience and grace. So yeah, if you are thinking of having number 2, I personally, I like the bigger age gap. Somebody mentions, all of us firstborns, especially daughters in African households, feel so seen right now. This retrospect is proof that you're winning at motherhood tats, despite there no being a manual. Your kids are so lucky to have you as their mom. That means a lot. That really means a lot. Fiasco commented, I truly agree. Also, there's the fact that different babies meet a different version of you. Most times, baby number 1 is the one we discover what being a parent is with. Absolutely. Their firsts are our first too. Their first day of school, their first walk, etc. It is so paramount to remember this. It's so paramount to remember this so that you have a lot of grace for them and for yourself. Dates with my first have been so helpful because you don't realize how much they adjust to help you with the others and need your affection too. To breaking this cycles, mamas, with a clink clink. I couldn't agree more. Honestly, I have been trying so hard as well to do dates with my firstborn. It's becoming a bit difficult because I have 3 of them, work, school, but she also is somebody that asks me all the time, when can we do a mother-daughter date? There are times she's also, mentioned, it was so nice when it was just us. And that just goes to show, that lack of attention from 1 child now to 3 children, it's a lot for somebody to take in. And it's really nice when you're able to focus your attention on one-on-one. And I really agree that taking your kids on dates is super important. Connecting with them on one-on-one without the others interfering, being able to focus all your energy on that one person, being able to show them all your love, all your affection, all your encouragement, seeing what they're doing in their day-to-day lives, their schooling, their friends. One-on-one dates is important. So if you can, I highly encourage you to do one-on-one dates with your kids. I think it will be really nice time for bonding, a really nice time for connection. And as we've also heard from Dr. Carol, discipline comes from connection. Everything around motherhood and parenting comes from connection. So you really want to try and connect with your kids as much as possible. I really love this comment as well. Truth, the silver lining lies in realizing the behavior and intentionally choosing to act better. Sure, it won't make up for the lost time, but it will definitely help the little hearts heal faster. More grace to my fellow parents. I love this. Again, there's always room to repair. Nothing is lost. I mean, it definitely gets harder when they're a bit older maybe, but nothing is lost. And if you're able to just sit down, sit back, reflect, think about some of the things maybe you feel like you could be doing better, there's still time to repair and make that situation with your daughter better. So those are things that I've taken into account. Those are things that make me feel better. Those are things that make me feel better as a mom, knowing that I still have time to maybe spend a little bit more time with her, treat her with more care, more affection, take a little bit more time to understand what she's going through. I still have a little bit more time. Correction is so important in motherhood. That goes for saying sorry when you're wrong, asking them what you could be doing better, trying to connect with them. All of that is very important. So I really love that. I really love that comment. Thank you, Elith, for that one. And I'll just read one more to end the session. Naomi says she needed to hear this. So I needed to hear this. I don't even have a second child yet, but I find myself treating my little one like she's much older because she acts more mature than we ever did, but she's still just a baby. Yeah, that still happens as well. My oldest was also incredibly mature. I think I took her to every shoot. She was never left at home. So she was always interacting with adults. And I feel like she matured very quickly. And so I definitely understand that feeling of, even if you don't have a second one, just being able to treat your children like they're still children is so important. Understanding brain development, where they are at each stage of their life, every year that they go through, they change so drastically. And it's really important to understand what their brain is going through so that you can better parent them and have more grace for yourself. Thank you guys so much for leaving all these comments under my videos. I really appreciate all the encouragement, everybody always adding their 2 cents, sharing their experiences. I think it's so important as a mom, as a motherhood community, to be there for one another, to share our experiences, to share things that we've been through, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So I really, really appreciate you all. And here's to building that community, and I hope to see you next time.
Yeah.